even though a lot of us were critical of the draft, saying like, yeah, if anything goes wrong, your damage is low, it can be really difficult to navigate with these one-threat comps, they never hit that difficulty point. They were always fighting better. They were always making plays. River and Quid were back to their old notorious duo ways, just bullying on Saint. He had to go to the principal's office halfway through that series and ask for some help, man. He was struggling.
As we see, I think this is super interesting because the Aurora goes through. It is going to be first picked by LYON. I am wondering if that is a flex, because I do think it can be a very dangerous flex topside. I think there are so many matchups, specifically the Renekton, that you could potentially be looking to lock in on this red side if Dhokla would want to go for it, that she is so good into. As we see the Ryze Nocturne coming through out of 100 Thieves.
I mean, the win rate for it in pro play is actually 7% higher in top lane. So Aurora has performed significantly better, but mostly in the LTA it has been as a mid laner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting that our teams haven't seemed to be as willing as certain LCK or LPL teams to kind of flex it between those two lanes. We'll see whether it is going to go to Saint or Srtty. Obviously, Saint has had phenomenal Aurora games, right? Even in a loss. And as we see that Renekton going through, we know it's going to be going mid.
Mm-hmm. So that will be going mid. And that does mean that Quid kind of got his pick of the litter as far as what he wanted as a matchup. I do quite like Ryze into the Aurora, because if you're not getting taken down pretty early, you hit Catalyst, you hit Merc Treads, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you can't really get one shot and your sustained damage is much higher, you have better wave clear, so you kind of get your run of the map in that way.
I mean, when you think about Aurora, you always think about her finding her entire combo in a real snap instance on a squishy target. You get weirding, you get two-fold hex, you get electrocute, you get 50% of their health bar. Ryze just does not have that vulnerability to that kind of damage.
No, not at all. I mean, this would be actually really funny if he locked this in, because I was talking with Dhokla before the game.
He did. He did. So Big Dokes locks Big Garen.
So this is his most played in solo queue by actually quite a lot. And he was saying he hasn't been playing as much recently, but it's funny because I was joking with him before when I was doing the interviews and stuff. I was talking to him and he's like, so what do you want me to play today? And I always tell him Yorick from his Optic days. And then I was like, but if you can't do that, you got to give me the Garen.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'll see what I can do. And so actually bringing it out here, it is considered to be quite a good matchup into the Renekton. A lot of it is about your W timing. Can you actually time that to get that stun reduction on the Renekton stun? But you silence this guy, you can chop him up, you can win the 1v1, you have really good lane push. It is quite a strong matchup.
It's also something that, again, we've been talking so much about 100 Thieves' team identity, the compositions that they've been piloting today versus some of the stuff that they've picked earlier in Split 3. And I think this still fits, right? Like, we've seen River do super well on this Nocturne. He has a nice little dive buddy in there with the Garen. The Ryze can go in as well for a bunch of lockdown. Already, this first 3 for 100 Thieves is very exemplary of what they love to do.
It really is, and it's also exemplary of what Dhokla is bringing to the team, right? Because these are 3 games in a row with champions being played that are not Sniper champions, right? You know, there was that kind of criticism towards Sniper of, well, he doesn't really play Sign, he doesn't really play Rumble. Well, he doesn't play Garen either, right? These are all kind of Dhokla special picks here. So it will be interesting to see if it works out, if you can bring out something that you've practiced so much in solo queue and bring it onto this pro stage and win a game 3 with that. Like, that's hype.
Okay, final pick of the draft for 100 Thieves is going to be FBI's, because they want to lock in the Braum on pick number 4. And when you're looking at 2 comps that so far are both very short range overall, I really like Braum, because I feel like you can get a ton of value when you can just apply those concussive blows to a lot of different targets very easily.
You really can. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we're just see it. Well, I was going to say, most of the picks I'm thinking of have already been banned out, because usually you would say like a Senna, a Jhin, an Ezreal, a Kai'Sa. Those are all gone. You can go a lot of different routes still, but those are the kind of most common picks with this sort of style. I could see maybe you just play something kind of like more scaling, like along the lines of like an Aphelios or something like that. But a lot of the picks you would want to go to are all gone, like the enabling picks.
Yeah,
so,
there we go.
So it is just going to be a scaling pick like Aphelios. That makes sense, because yeah, it's like you would think about Sivir as enabling the melees. You would think about these long-range safe ones as being able to enable them. So I think it makes sense. You just scale alongside that Senna, and you're kind of the late-game win condition here.
Plus, you also have the ability, you know, depending on which guns you have, the old red-white don't fight. You can throw down the turret as well, make it really difficult. A giant Infernum ulti, we know how powerful that can be if everybody on the enemy team is all short range and clumped up. Dhokla's taking a couple of looks here right before the game, trying to, I don't know what he's looking at. I don't know if he's trying to stare like Mad Dog Lion, or if he's looking at the team or what he's doing.
We've
All
seen
of the above.
Yeah, we've seen very little of that actually in the face-off arena.
I mean, he was giving us the 3-0 before.
Yeah, that's true. He's doing the bin kind of classic.
Well, right now, it's looking like that could be a very real situation that LYON find themselves in, right? They have to lock in here. Everybody before this series talking about, yeah, it's about LYON's strength of schedule. They've had to play C9 and FlyQuest. Nobody's going to look good if that's your opponents that you're going into. They managed to find the win against Liquid. They're in the lower bracket because they had one of the rougher strengths of schedule that you could have had, but they're actually like the third best team in the league. They're a competitor for the top, and now they're down 0-2 against a 100 Thieves squad that has been struggling now for months. So LYON's expectations are not being met according to the rumor mills and the whispers. And honestly, neither are 100 Thieves, because everybody has been saying, yeah, man, it seems like 100 Thieves have just exploded, and now they are back, and they are back in form.
I mean, a few people were saying 100 Thieves were doing better in scrims going into this, as we see some posturing around level 1, but the big thing is how crushing those 2 defeats are for LYON, right? And whether they're going to be able to regroup mentally.
Ooh.
River does have to burn the flash there.
Yeah, that's really good early on for LYON, being able to take him away from that summoner spell. Of course, in the ideal world for Nocturne, you're not doing early ganks very often anyway. You generally aren't going to have to flash away from a chicken camp or anything like that, so.
You never know, Flowers. Those raptors come at you fast.
I mean, that being said, hey, now there's an opportunity to maybe get a little bit more aggressive if you're Oddielan, right? Because that's kind of your only tool to get away from Pillar, from Trundle. So, you know, maybe he can look for some sort of an invade or try to mix up the pathing a bit to try to put pressure onto River, because you would love to be able to make it so the Nocturne can't just power farm straight to 6, because that's really what Nocturne wants to do, is you just want to be doing nothing but farming until ult's up, then you want to ult, get a kill, back to farming.
All right, LYON, it's time to lock in. They've got to try to keep themselves alive here, or the season's over until next year, right? Like, it's a real scary proposition. And as we now have our minions colliding, Kobe is standing by for an interview with 100 Thieves coach Golden Glue.
Golden Glue, talk to me about big dokes on Garen. They've been sniping his solo queue account, looking at a lot of the games. How you feeling about that?
I'm interested to see if he does it this game. I feel like very frequently you'll see him flash very early on in the matchup in the 1v1. Well, you might see it. Oh, and they're fighting right now. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good.
He's a little lower right now.
No, but he is a bit of a menace on the Garen. Like, I think it's a niche pick that he has, and I don't know. It seems pretty good front to back into Renekton. Like, you just kind of kill him. You win on side later. You know, I do think the Renekton is slightly stronger at 6, but you know, it's just one of his niche counter picks, and yeah, we like it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you guys went with some split pushing, side lane, you know, win cons for later with the Nocturne in the jungle. Do you feel like you guys are going to be able to get to that point in the game, and then can you actually execute and okay?
Spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game, all the lanes are like pretty even. I mean, technically we counterpicked top, we counterpicked mid, and we had counter AD and counter supply. We kind of counterpicked everywhere. So I mean, I think.
So you're kind of the GOAT.
Yeah, we're kind of the best. I don't know. I heard I mean, we're just winning draft every game, so the game's. No, I was kidding.
I mean, yeah, you can talk about last game if you want to, also with your counter engage picks. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just heard that the casting desk said that we lost draft last game, which is I think pretty funny because we had full anti-dive comp into full dive comp, and as you guys could see, went pretty well for us.
Did go very well.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think this game is a pretty close one. We got FBI and Aphelios, which is an absolute menace. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think there's some. Jesus, that's scary to watch.
Okay, let's send it back to the casters while you're still feeling confident. Take it away.
First blood already over to the side of LYON. The kill on River as FBI and Eyla have to try to escape as well. The lack of flash does end up getting punished.
Yeah, it looks like they were able to get onto River in the river with Oddielan and Saint. I didn't see how he ended up in that position because I was looking out for this Garen Renekton matchup in the top side. As we see, you've pulled up Dhokla's solo queue record here, Azael.
Exactly. So this is solo queue record on Garen. When I saw he was coming in, I went and looked up his solo queue stats, and I was very surprised to see that it was his most played was Garen.
Yeah.
I was like, what is up with that? 8-1 in solo queue versus Renekton. His in-game icon is also Garen. So he is a bit of a Garen enthusiast these days. It's cool to see him bringing it out. And Golden Glue is also feeling obviously very confident, in a good mood here. The series has been going well.
Okay, Quid could be in some danger as Oddielan wants to make his way mid. Maybe get a little revenge for game 2, where it was constantly River and Quid bullying Saint. This time around, Oddielan making sure he's the one doing the bullying.
Yeah, he's getting Saint in a further good position here in this mid lane. He and Saint were the ones who were able to get on to River and punish him for not having that flash. And also, I do like this from Oddielan, right? Like we talked about all of the aggressive options he could go for necessarily. With River's flash being down, knowing the Nocturne wants to farm, he's been trying to get involved with his lanes early, especially around Saint, who we know can have insane pop-off performances on this Aurora.
So I do want to mention also, we're seeing the cull in the inventory for Srtty.
That was Quid using his flash, as was Lyonz in the brush. Got a bit surprised by that.
Okay. But yeah, call for Srtty on the Renekton, making sure that he can get some extra gold as the lane goes on, but that mostly just tells me he's not intimidated by the Dhokla Garen. He's not saying, oh yeah, I feel like I'm going to lose this matchup. Just picking up the call early for the extra farming power, and I want to see if that does end up getting punished. Srtty is already level 6 on the Renekton, and right there, Dhokla hits level 6 on the Garen. It's all about the execution, trying to get the massive burst once you get him low enough with Demacian Justice. And Quid's just going to keep pushing this out. Has Eyla right behind him, just wants to make sure that he can get this wave crashing into the turret and then get himself a nice reset there as Dhokla and Srtty continue trading back and forth. The pickaxe versus the two longswords, Srtty just feels stronger in general.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely is, right? And we saw Eyla on that move really just trying to cover for Quid, who had been ganked once, then lost his flash on a regank there as Lyonz had moved up. So they were pretty nervous about him getting attacked, and Eyla could be in trouble. Yeah,
Eyla having to flash out now himself to avoid the danger of Lion invading the 100 Thieves jungle. This is a more coordinated look in the early stages from Lion, a more active look as they're trying to put the pressure on 100 Thieves and keep it there.
Well, it's nice to see from them, right? Like, this is a good regrouping from them, recognizing where they can go aggressive because River might not be as involved with his lanes. And also the other kind of important thing is that despite the fact that Senna is kind of constantly going to get shoved in, she feels really bad in lane early. They have kind of taken over this bot side enough to have her in a good position and pick up that first Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going really, really well for them. Dhokla was also on the back foot. So Dhokla bases, he's going down towards bot. Obviously didn't have his DP. FBI will get up here to catch some of that wave, but they did lose at least a few more minions. And as of right now, it's a 20 CS advantage for Srtty with Dhokla having counterpick. So this is the matchup he wanted. He is getting quite a bit behind. Garen does scale well in some of these side lanes, so it's not as though he's like completely screwed or anything, but obviously it's a fantastic start for Srtty. Having a cull and being up 20 CS, like, you're laughing. And we'll see how this evens out as the wave crashes in towards him, because obviously Dhokla has evened that out a fair bit.
Yeah, it's a big chance for Srtty to be a big difference maker in this back against the wall must-win type of game. As Saint goes across the veil there, just jumps away as Quid and the rest of 100 Thieves were looking towards him with the Grubs spawning right now.
Yeah, the Grubs are spawning, and you can see Dhokla, he's just going to start proxying now. So he's in behind the tower, no longer wants to play for that 1v1. He has taken that away, and he's moving up towards Grubs.
Yes, first Grub already claimed by the side of 100 Thieves as they immediately go in for the fight, and Oddielan is dead before anything else even happens. Now Saint's in the middle of everybody, and River's going to be in some danger. Quid's firing back with a little bit more. FBI with long-range damage isn't quite enough to finish the kill onto Saint, and Lyonz and Hena are still firing back towards Quid and Eyla. Meanwhile, Dhokla and Srtty trying to get involved in the fight, but it's just a 1v1 for them with a feat of warfare claimed as Hena gets a kill for his Senna, and it's a 3-1 game, a 1.3 thousand lead, and a very nice fight for Lion.
A nice fight for LYON, and also Srtty, importantly, kept Dhokla out from being able to join. They land the pillar on to FBI, but then the Nocturne ult comes through. They do blow up Oddielan, and then here they're able to get River down as well. Saint actually survives really narrowly in this fight, and then here's the back half where I was talking about. Srtty pops Dominus, completely stuffs Dhokla from being able to come up and join his team and potentially turn the fight around.
A lot of stress still looking.
Yeah, I know. They didn't look too happy about that.
I mean, I think they came in not expecting this to be a close series, but in the other way. So
yeah.
Definitely knowing, hey, they are one game away from their year ending, and that is a really stressful position to be in for all of the players and coaching staff on the LYON side. The expectations were high for this squad that they could make a really good lower bracket run, but 100 Thieves thus far has been the ones fully in control.
Okay, Ayla's coming up to try to help Dhokla here, but LYON still has more men in the area. Eyla also still only halfway to level 6, where Lyonz himself is already level 6 on the Rell, does have the Magnet Storm, so 100 Thieves just trying to make sure they can clear those waves away. They do not want to allow LYON to make a dive out of this. The next wave that arrives, the cooldown for Subjugate is going to be ready to go again for Oddielan, which makes the dive so much easier to pull off. But luckily for 100 Thieves, they've bought enough time. LYON are going to walk away from this one. But it is still, again, that feat of warfare claimed by LYON. They've already got 2 neutral objectives because they got 2 out of 3 grubs. They got that first elemental Drake. They're sitting in a great spot right now.
Yeah, they are sitting in a really good spot. Obviously, 100 Thieves do want to be able to, as we see this TP coming in from the Rell, and Audie is headed up here.
Okay, Dhokla's got his flash still. We'll see if he wants to try to spin that, because LYON is sending the kitchen sink at him. No, he'll just cast the Judgment, do a little bit of damage to him. Bottom side of the map, it's 100 Thieves looking to get something back. But between worlds, Saint goes, and away from the danger he finds himself until Eyla shows up, and now the Realm Warp puts River behind him, while Quid stays with the wave to make sure that they can get that shoved up. And now a little bit more damage onto Saint. He is reinforced with the Dawning Shadow. As River, one more turret shot might have been able to kill him, but they aren't going to get that. LYON the entire time has been putting in work on the tier 1 turret on the top side. They'll claim that objective. They'll claim the feats of warfare and a 2,000 gold lead.
It was so hard for them to get onto the Aurora that 100 Thieves aren't able to get nearly as much as LYON are on the top side. First turret and feats over to LYON, and really nicely done. You saw how difficult it was for 100 Thieves, even with the members they had there, with the Realm Warp, with the repositioning, because the wave wasn't in the best spot as well. It was so difficult to get onto Saint.
It really was. I mean, he was very evasive. They also had the ult from Hena coming from cross map to keep him alive, but he did try to TP out of there, unfortunately, so he loses his TP, so that is at least something that the 100 Thieves squad got, but it's feats, it's a 2K lead, it is everything in control right now for LYON.
And that 2K lead, 1.3 thousand of that is Srtty on the Renekton, and he only has 3 stacks left on Cull before he cashes that in. He's already got the Spear of Shojin fully completed. You're seeing some items come online everywhere now as the first fully completed ones are showing up on most players on LYON's squad.
Yeah, I mean, Hena has just been such a big part of a lot of the success for LYON. In this game, he's in a really good spot. He has 2 early kills. He already has the Shiv completed. And on the Senna, you're going to be scaling really well and be in a good position to enable the rest of the team. Like, this guy just has been a difference maker and is, I think, a big reason why so many pros rank this team so highly.
Yeah, they always talk about Hena and Saint, and the fact that Hena is in a good position despite, as we talked about, that Senna lane being really tough in early levels. I feel like the way that LYON have been able to get Hena's Senna in a good position has been great. As we see them chewing through this bot side turret, River is going to go in onto Saint.
But it's just perfect
and
placement
he just goes out.
of the Between Worlds. He places it down in a spot where you walk through it, you put yourself on the other side of a very large piece of terrain that your opponents can't possibly follow through. But now, Saint sticks around a little bit long. He could be in some danger with this one as Eyla and River work together for the chain CC. Discretion's the better part of valor. Saint should have thought a little bit more about that one. He gets punished for some greed.
Yeah, he gets punished, and FBI and Dhokla are going to be able to get some more plates on these turrets. Again, this 100 Thieves squad here does want to be able to set up inside lanes with the Garen, with the Ryze, and kind of be able to jump on you from all angles when they want, right? With the Nocturne ult, with the Realm Warp coming through. So nice kind of counterpunch to 100 Thieves. We thought Saint was out. He stuck around for a little bit too long, ended up getting jumped on again, and that opens up a little bit for 100 Thieves here.
Yeah, I mean, I think 100 Thieves are doing a good job sticking with the game plan. Yes, some early fights went bad, but we're going to play through sides, right? This is a comp that really can succeed in 1-3-1. You send out the Garen, you send out the Ryze. As the game goes forward, they should both be winning their matchups in that side lane, and then you have Nocturne that's going to make things that much more difficult. Yes, LYON can try to shadow their soul laners to try to defend if that Nocturne ult comes in, but you can't be everywhere, and you can't always have vision of that Nocturne, which makes things really difficult. And now that Roa is completed, as is the Stride Breaker, so you know we're going to see these 100 Thieves soul laners just continue push out those sides, try to keep the pressure on.
That is where I'm going to be looking at LYON's setups, right? Especially around objectives, because if they get Saint into a good position, he can go in, explode that damage like you talked about, Flowers, and then additionally, you have Dawning Shadow coming across, right? So that can also be a big difference maker for LYON.
FBI could be in a little danger here. Hash is out of the way of the Shattering Strike there. Would have definitely connected since the pillar was already slowing FBI down. So LYON at least get a free summoner spell out of that immobile carry on the Aphelios. Meanwhile, Srtty is up there in the Herald pit already, starting this objective on spawn. And I think this is going to be absolutely critical for LYON if they want to keep this lead. All fights they take have to be fights with Srtty involved. They have a 1.6 thousand gold lead. Srtty's like 1.3, 1.4 thousand of that. He is a massive share of why they are ahead in this game.
I also think this is just a good use of Srtty's pressure, right? Because 100 Thieves know they can't contest this Renekton right now in kind of a fair objective setup fight. So they back off, they kind of look for something maybe on bot side, now they're pushing in mid, but really good use of LYON of their pressure points.
Okay, Oddielan, I think he might have just had his Subjugate spell shielded, but now a nice engage coming out from LYON with a Magnet Storm, crash down onto 3, but a bunch of damage coming back out from FBI with the AoE on the Infernum. 100 Thieves still trying to fight back a little bit here, but Srtty has arrived. One more auto attack to stun him up there with the concussive blows from Quid, flashing away from the pillar now. 100 Thieves have already lost 2 men, but so have LYON. Dhokla continues escaping, Dawning Shadow, not enough to threaten his life. A bit of a bloody one here, but it's an even trade, 2 for 2.
Yeah, back and forth, very close there, but great engage from LYONz. Everyone is coming in, and at first you're thinking, oh, River could be in trouble, but it's FBI really that is the main target here. Look at Hena over the wall, great positioning in the Raptor pit, getting the damage down. Saint arrives and cleans up that kill. Yes, River's able to go in and get one back, but once the pressure is put onto Quid here, there's just not really enough for them to do. So all they can do is just kind of disengage, try to run it out.
Honestly, I think it was critical that FBI managed to fire off that ulti right as he died, because otherwise the health bars on LYON are still so high. They just full commit and probably get even more out of that one. But the gold lead still stays where it's been for quite a while now, but it's 30 seconds until the next neutral objective spawns with that Mountain Drake. You can see Srtty walking towards that area right now. He does not have the teleport ready to use to take up a position on the other side of the map, and LYON knows they need him at the fight.
I mean, it's such a critical moment in the game here. If LYON can actually grab that third dragon, move us to soul point this early on, you know, only 17 and a half, 18 minutes. This is a big pick.
Yeah, Dhokla going after Saint, who goes across the veil. He escapes over the wall, does not have to spend his flash, did not quite have the cooldown on his ultimate. You can see still about 5 seconds left on that one. So Dhokla does a decent amount of damage. If Dhokla was as fed as Srtty, he probably could have just killed him there. But that's the difference of the early disadvantage here for the Garen.
They're just going to give it because Dokla's topside, he has no TP, so they are just going to say, you know what, all right, you got it. You are moving to soul point here, and now 100 Thieves, you're kind of in this position where if you couldn't take any early dragons, the split push is so much harder to pull off. You don't really have that much time. The question is going to be posed in 5 minutes. You know, can you beat us in a team fight? Can you stop us at this dragon? They will trade that tier 1 top, which is fine short term, but if you lose Mountain Soul, it is really, really tough. So 100 Thieves have a couple minutes here to get as strong as possible.
Okay, the Herald summoned up though, and LYON are going to be the ones cashing in. FBI in some danger. Defensive ulti from Eyla, the Glacial Fissure, to protect the Aphelios. 100 Thieves haven't lost anybody here just yet. The Herald's ready for the second charge. Eyla and Quid both stepping forward a little bit, but Srtty has already used the Dominus. Dhokla moving forward, ready to join up with the rest of the team if the fight keeps on going. But considering LYON already got what they came for, considering Srtty no longer has an ulti, neither does Saint, they're happy to just back away.
Yeah, I was wondering if River was going to actually look for something here.
Okay, LYON, not quite done just yet. Wanted to see if maybe they could catch 100 Thieves unawares, making a second play, this time potentially in the blue buff jungle. Dhokla wants to go in, but he's all alone! Dhokla with a big blunder there, walking alone into the waiting arms of LYON, and he just gets chomped.
I mean, he just was not expecting LYON to still be there. You know,
Yeah.
LYON made this mid lane play, got the towers, and then it's like a full minute later, they're still just hanging around. They haven't actually reset. So I know they saw some of them, but I think Dhokla just working under the assumption that everyone would have based by now. They're going to be back out on the map. But LYON go for this kind of long con, stay around for a very long time, and do end up getting a kill on Dhokla, who had just completed his second item.
Yeah, and now I'm looking at how much LYON can kind of open up the map and make it theirs before this next Drake comes up, right? Because that is going to be huge. If there's any point where LYON can just absolutely slam the door on this game, it will be Mountain Soul.
Mm-hmm. But you know what's also spawning right before
our old friends.
Yeah, we have our old buddy Oddielan spawning, and there's still about 3 minutes until Soul spawns after he appears. I don't know if we will see the teams wait that long for that dragon to be there, because this Oddielan often draws a lot of attention very early.
So this is where I'm really curious to see what LYON will do, right? Because we've talked about how they aren't 100 Thieves, how it felt like a lot of the times, outside of a few outliers where they'll be disjointed and maybe Lyonz will go in for a fight where the rest of the team won't follow up, it feels like they do always kind of default towards the safer option, or doing the more like, okay, we're going to sit back, we're going to do everything kind of a little bit more by the book, where 100 Thieves are the type of team to kind of just full send it if they feel like they can win a fight.
Saint jumping in after Quid here, but the phase rush gets him plenty of distance. Lyonz wants to follow up though and commits Magnet Storm for this. Quid wants to just realm warp out, and sure enough, he'll escape with it.
I mean, Lyonz kind of messed that up, I'm not going to lie. You got to hold either the Shattering Strike or the Crash Down to be able to interrupt the realm warp, and he held neither, so now they're just going to be able to start Oddielan on the other side of the map.
Okay, Dawning Shadow is going to see this. A teleport coming in to guarantee that Quid can join up with the rest of the team. The Oddielan is dying so slowly, but River is not. He's already down to below half HP. Srtty and Oddielan are here. Oddielan still being focused by 100 Thieves. We're going to get a fight. I just knew this was how it was going to go down. Srtty's here on the very front line. They're trying to focus the Fed Renekton, but they can't do enough damage to actually hurt him. River's about to die, but the Oddielan is going to get claimed by FBI. Eyla and River continuing to disengage, but Quid is under pressure. Lyonz needs a little bit more damage, and FBI is already down. It's 2 dead on 100 Thieves. River's about to be the third. Saint needs a little bit more, and the last auto attack finds him for the double kill. Now he continues jumping forward with another weirding. 3 dead in exchange for an Oddielan.
Yeah, we were like, okay, what is LYON gonna do? They're gonna be patient. That bot play happens, and 100 Thieves like, you know what? We are going to try for the Oddielan. We are going to go in. I actually thought at one point that River was just going to flat out die to
right here,
the
he's backed up and he's standing
itself.
in the swirl.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there. He's taking a ton of damage.
I mean, he's just tanking the abilities. He also wasn't really dodging any of the, I don't even know what you call them, but little balls that shoot out. It's like, basically, you stay close and you move to the side and you take no damage from Oddielan. He lost 90% of his HP from Oddielan, so even just from that, there's no way you can ever take a fight. They hard commit to it. They do get the Oddielan, thankfully. It was from an FBI auto attack, I believe, that actually secured it.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, that was still not good from 100 Thieves whatsoever. They are in a really rough spot now.
And that spot is about to become even more difficult. 20 seconds until what will be the Mountain Soul for LYON spawns. LYON had a 3,500 gold lead alongside the advantages of the 3 Drakes they've already earned. Dhokla is on the pincer attack, though, looking to wrap around behind them. But Srtty's ready to mark him. There's no way that Dhokla is going to be able to get past the Renekton here. And Hena's got plenty of range on this Senna with 64 stacks. So 100 Thieves still scattered a little bit. Dhokla, however, still the closest man to the Dragon Pit, trying to make sure that LYON can't can't just start this up and take it before a fight happens. 100 Thieves do not want to fight into the Mountain Soul. If they're going to take this, they need to make it happen here soon. Saint's keeping everybody else zoned away. Dhokla wins a trade against Srtty. Now you got to look out because Saint goes between worlds over the wall to join up with the rest of LYON. Now Eyla with a Glacial Fissure on to 3. Nicely followed up by FBI, but they don't have enough damage to finish the job just yet. Dhokla gets the assassination on Saint. There's another kill onto Lyonz. Srtty is fleeing. Dhokla's still fighting. FBI's alive, but Srtty is zoning him away, and Dhokla still needs a little bit more damage to try to kill Hena, but he flashes back over the wall and stays alive. LYON win the fight.
LYON take the fight. They're going to take the soul as well. Was a pretty close one. Hena got incredibly low. FBI did a lot of damage there. Dhokla had a good angle on that flank, but River couldn't get too much done. I mean, he used the ult early onto Saint. Saint just goes right over the wall to avoid it, and LYON are able to make it happen in this 5v5.
Yeah, I mean, we see Saint going in here, but LYON are still pretty much on the Drake. I did like Dhokla's attempt to get on to Hena, and Saint goes really low here, but then we see the Dawning Shadow coming through. Quid ends up dying, and then Dhokla just kind of gets chunked down and ends up dying on the back half of that fight too. I was shocked that Hena lived throughout all that.
You can see the initial start of the fight. He was very happy. I mean, it was a really good start to the fight with Ayla's ult coming through, FBI's ult coming through. So much damage was done. Then, you know, Dhokla flashes in, kills Saint. You're thinking, okay, maybe they can actually win this. But once FBI gets pushed out, I mean, look at Dhokla. He got a lot of work done. He killed off Saint. He almost killed Hena, forced the flash. But at the end of the day, almost not counting in this one because you still lost soul. You still lost that fight. And it is going to be a really tough path to come back now. And they're just sending Quid to the side lane. They're saying, you know what, we are going to play through side lanes, try to find picks there, try to find pressure there, and hope that the other members can somehow hold on.
Yeah, it was a rough early game for Dhokla's Garen, but he is starting to become relevant again here. Problem is, LYON is just brute forcing their way into the base now with this Mountain Soul power. FBI with the Infernum ulti really doesn't get a lot with it, and now he's under a lot of pressure here too. Counterattack from River. Quid shows up to join the battle, but River is already down. LYON continuing their push, and FBI dies next. LYON with a 5v3. Health bar's compromised, so they got to be a little bit careful. Wait for those cooldowns. They lock up Quid. That's the green light to keep on going in. They kill off the Ryze, but he's traded for Oddielan. It's still a 3-for-1, including an extra tier 3 turret, including the mid lane inhibitor. That's a massive push from LYON.
Yeah, that actually got pretty close though, as Quid didn't have his flash. It's just now coming back up very shortly, but he was just splashing damage through all of LYON, softening them up, and you were starting to think maybe 100 Thieves would have a chance there, but they're playing it out really, really well. Hena is just so problematic at this point, almost has his third item, has been stacking very well, and they can't really seem to ever get to Hena and finish him off.
Yeah, and I think that is on LYON for, again, their really good early game. They got Hena through the roughest part of this Senna. 100 Thieves were never really able to keep her down at any point, and now he's in such a good position that even when 100 Thieves are able to have a really good team fight setup, right? Like, kind of like what we saw at Drake. If Hena is able to survive, he's keeping the team topped off, he's doing damage, he's firing from the back line, and it's just really, really difficult to kill either him or this Aurora from Saint.
And I like the way that you're describing Hena as this team fight battery, because look at the itemization from Dhokla. He's had the Executioners calling for a while now to try to cut down some of the healing, but Serpent's Fang is his third fully completed item. It not only helps break the shields from Hena's big ulti with the Dawning Shadow, it's also going to have the effectiveness of the Sterix Gauge from Srtty, but now River has been caught out. How often does the AD carry get to catch and assassinate Nocturne? River forced to flash over the wall just to escape.
Yeah, Serpent Fang also going to get value against Mountain Soul, right? Because everyone has that shield, so you get Mountain Soul value, and River, we're going to watch him die. No way out of that. Bit of a lazy recall, didn't keep walking back to base. Now he is down, and that's the green light to go set up for Baron here. Yeah. And they're going to try to catch on this TP as well. Yeah,
Dhokla's TP is not where he wanted to find himself. Massive mistakes from Dhokla and River with the lazy recall, with the poor TP placement, results in a 5v3 game state. Yeah, it's difficult to try to find a way to fight back against the lead LYON already has, but it's way harder now because LYON are marching straight over to the Baron, and your jungler's still dead for 15 seconds on the 100 Thieves side.
And they're sending Srtty to protect this bot tier 2 as well, right? So Quid isn't going to be able to push in. Quid's actually probably dead.
I was going to say, he's going to do more than protect the turret. He's going going
also...
to beat Ryze to death.
It's very
Well,
protected.
Yeah, the turret
is safe.
The turret is protected. He beat Ryze to death,
Baron is
and
not.
LYON are beating the Baron to death.
Yeah, this game is pretty much done at this point. LYON have done a fantastic job responding to what 100 Thieves brought to the table in this one. Srtty dominating the top lane matchup early on to guarantee that his team had total control over neutral objectives. The rest of the squad working together to play aggressively in the faces of 100 Thieves, punish things like River's Flash being missing at level 1. It's just been a great game 3 from LYON, and I think for their fans, for their staff, for their players, this is more of what you were expecting for this whole series coming into the day.
It's more of what we were expecting, and it's a really nice mental reset from them as well, right? Because after game 2, I was like, okay, where is this team going to be at mentally? How are they going to recover? They did a great job.
Dhokla under some pressure now, though, as immediately LYON are ready to keep the blood splattering. Eyla is going to be your next target as Dhokla has to go back all the way to the fountain steps. LYON will take out another inhibitor and continue their push towards the Nexus turrets. 100 Thieves know they only have one fight left in them if they want to try to stay in this game number 3. But Saint jumps into the middle of everybody. He gets stunned back into the wall. That wasn't great. Now Srtty might be the next one to get taken out. He's still fleeing, but he will be resurrected. FBI's alive, but he's under so much pressure. 100 Thieves still scrambling, but LYON is too far ahead. Eyla and Dhokla in the middle of everybody, but it's not enough. Only FBI still stands, and Hena's gonna put a bullet in his back. LYON are not done yet, and we're going to game 4.